All right, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be turning our antennas, towards the world of DXing.
Yep.
Specifically a program that's been generating a lot of buzz lately in the ham radio community.
Mm-hmm.
The DXMarathon.
Oh, you
Have you heard about this?
Yeah, the DXMarathon definitely seems to be having a resurgence.
Yeah, and what really caught my attention with this is that it's not just, attracting the big guns, their massive antenna farms. This is something that seems to be really resonating with a much wider range of operators.
Yeah, it seems like one of the big things that's coming out of all the research we've been doing is that it really is inclusive.
Right.
It's structured in a way that allows anyone, really, regardless of their station setup
Exactly.
or experience level, to participate and feel like they're, on an even playing field.
Yeah, that statistic of a 4 times increase in participation from the formula class really stood out to me.
Right.
That's operators running 100 watts
Right.
with basic dipoles or verticals.
Yeah, you don't need a superstation.
Yeah, you don't need a superstation to get in on the action.
To get in on the action, that's a really powerful message.
Right.
Especially for newcomers who might feel intimidated.
Yeah.
When they're first getting into the hobby.
Yeah.
And they think that they have to compete against these massive stations.
Absolutely.
And it's about skill and strategy as much as it is about equipment.
So let's talk about that skill and strategy for a second.
Okay.
For someone who's maybe new to DXing, what is it about the DXMarathon that makes it such a compelling program?
Well, I think it offers this really interesting mix of challenge and accessibility.
Okay.
So the challenge comes from, you're chasing these DX entities and CQ zones throughout the year.
Right.
And it really tests your knowledge of, propagation, antenna optimization, your operating techniques.
Okay. So propagation, for our listener who may not know,
Right.
that refers to how radio waves travel through the atmosphere. Different frequencies act differently at different times of the day and different times of the year.
Right.
Understanding those patterns is really crucial.
It is, yeah. It's like learning how to read the weather patterns for radio waves.
Yeah.
And, the DXMarathon encourages you to really, dig into that aspect of the hobby.
So that's the challenge side of it.
Yeah.
What about the accessibility?
Well, I think what makes it accessible is that it's really simple.
Okay.
You're essentially already participating if you're actively working DX.
Okay.
You just got to keep those logs,
Right.
At the end of the year, you upload your ADI file.
Okay. And an ADIF file, that's just a standardized way of electronically storing your logbook data.
Right.
No need for paper logs or QSL cards or anything like that.
Pretty straightforward.
Very straightforward.
And I think that ease of entry removes a lot of the barriers.
Yeah.
That might prevent people from wanting to do it. It's like, hey, you're already doing this. Yeah. So you might as well make it official and see how far you can go.
Yeah. I like that there's no pressure. It's just the thrill of the chase.
Exactly.
And speaking of the chase, one thing that I thought was really interesting about the DXMarathon is that it really complements, other aspects of the hobby.
Oh, right.
Like if you're into contesting, any DX that you work during a contest counts towards your marathon score.
Absolutely. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
And even if you're not, a hardcore contester, the marathon can be a fun way to just add a little extra motivation to your DXing, all year round.
So it seems like there's something here for, a wide range of interests and experience levels.
I think so.
You've got, the veteran DXer who's looking for a fresh challenge. You've got the newcomer who's just starting to explore the world of DX, and everyone in between.
Yeah, and the program really seems to try to cater to all of those different needs and motivations.
So, for instance, if you're a seasoned DXer who's been doing this for a long time, you might find that the annual reset of the DXMarathon kind of rekindles that excitement of the chase.
Sure.
It's a chance to go up against your peers and see how you stack up.
Yeah, it's like a friendly competition to keep things fresh year after year.
Yeah.
And, for somebody with a more modest station, the class system levels that playing field.
Yeah.
So you're competing against other people.
With similar setups.
Yeah. So it's really a test of your operating skill.
Yeah.
Rather than, how big your antenna is.
Makes sense.
And how much power you can put out.
Yeah.
And it's not always about, racking up the points either.
Right.
It can be a very personal challenge.
Yeah.
Just to push your own boundaries. Mm-hmm. Experiment with different techniques, see what you can accomplish with what you have.
Yeah, that resonates with me the most. It's that sense of personal accomplishment, that feeling of, wow. I actually managed to contact someone in this far-flung corner of the world using this little radio.
It is pretty amazing.
It That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, and it's really a testament to human ingenuity and the power of radio waves.
Yeah.
It speaks to the broader appeal of amateur radio, too. It's not just about the technology. It's about the challenge, the exploration, the connections you make.
Yeah. Speaking of connections, one of the things that I thought was fascinating from the articles was how they talked about the DX Marathon's role in fostering that sense of community within the hobby.
For sure. It's not just about, individual achievements. It's a very strong community aspect to it.
Right.
You've got clubs that participate, mentors that are guiding newcomers, forums are buzzing with, discussions about strategies and tips.
Yeah, it's like the shared passion for DXing that really brings people together.
It does.
Regardless of, background or location.
Yeah, and the DX Marathon really does provide a framework for that to all kind of happen.
And they've even expanded recognition opportunities to include plaques for clubs of various sizes.
And just further encouraging that sense of camaraderie and shared accomplishment.
Which is awesome. That's really cool. And it really highlights, that inclusive nature of the program. It's not just about rewarding the top performers. It's about celebrating the collective effort and passion of the whole DXing community.
I think that's what makes this hobby so special.
Yeah.
It's this global network of people who are united by their love for radio and their desire to connect with the rest of the world.
So let's say someone is listening to this deep dive.
Okay.
And they're now intrigued by this whole DX marathon.
Right.
What would be your advice to them?
Well, the first step is, just embrace the fact that you're already in the game. If you're working DX.
Just log those contacts.
Just log it, man.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Just get out there and make those contacts.
Yeah, just do it.
And then, if you're looking for maybe a little bit more guidance.
Yeah.
Or you want to dig a little deeper into some of the specifics of the program. The DX Marathon website is a great resource.
Right.
We've got a ton of information on there about, rules and scoring, submission process.
I imagine there's also probably a lot of different online forums and communities.
Oh, yeah, tons of them.
Where experienced DXers would be happy to help out.
Oh, absolutely. The amateur radio community is so welcoming and supportive.
Especially to newcomers.
So don't hesitate to reach out and ask for advice or help.
And who knows, maybe, there's a local club in your area.
Yeah.
Where you can connect with other DXers in person.
There's something really special about sharing, the thrill of a rare DX contact with other people who understand that.
Absolutely.
The passion.
Now, before we wrap this up, I am curious to get your thoughts on this. Where do you see the future of the DX Marathon?
Oh.
Do you think this program is going to continue to grow in popularity?
I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
The combination of challenge and accessibility.
Right.
And that spirited community.
Yeah.
I think it really resonates with a lot of operators, and the people who organize it are clearly committed to its growth.
Yeah, that focus on inclusivity, I think, is key. By making this accessible to everyone, regardless of their station setup or experience level, you're going to have this constant influx of new participants, which keeps the hobby vibrant and thriving.
Absolutely. And, with technology the way it is now, DXing is more accessible than ever.
Yeah.
So I think we're just going to see more and more people discovering, the joy of chasing those far-off signals.
And who knows, maybe this deep dive will inspire some of our listeners to embark on their own DX Marathon adventures.
I hope so.
I hope so, too. The world of DXing is full of surprises and rewards.
It is.
And the DX Marathon is a great way to experience it.
For sure.
It's funny, we often talk about DXing as this, pursuit of rare contacts.
Yeah.
These little triumphs of, skill and technology. But listening to you describe it, it strikes me that it's also about something much bigger,
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think at its heart, DXing is about connecting with the world.
Yeah.
Expanding our horizons and realizing that even though we might be, separated by these vast distances, we're all part of this interconnected global community.
Yeah, and the DX Marathon seems to really tap into that.
It does.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
It's not just about individual achievements.
Right.
It's about fostering this sense of shared purpose and camaraderie among DXers worldwide.
And it's amazing how this seemingly simple act of, contacting someone in a distant land can spark a deeper curiosity about that place it's people, it's culture.
Right. It's like every contact becomes like a little window to a different part of the world, you know?
Yeah.
A reminder of the diversity and richness of human experience.
It's about more than just checking a box on a list.
Right.
It's about opening yourself up to these new perspectives.
Yeah.
And appreciating the interconnectedness of our planet.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the DX Marathon.
Okay.
What's the one key takeaway you'd want our listeners to walk away with?
You know, I would say that the DX Marathon is more than just a program.
Okay.
It's an invitation.
Okay.
You know, it's an invitation to explore the world through radio. Mm-hmm. To challenge yourself, to connect with others who share your passion.
Yeah.
And to discover that magic that happens when you reach out across the airwaves.
I like that. Very well said. And who knows, maybe this deep dive will spark a new adventure for one of our listeners out there.
Yeah, I hope so.
A journey into this world of DXing and all the endless possibilities it holds.
And if you do decide to go on that journey, just remember that the amateur radio community is here to support you every step of the way.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the DX Marathon.
73 and happy DXing.